obviously we gotta have blame pie out there, and we're all blaming something. So, who do you think's to blame for the entire meltdown in this series? Because, in my opinion, the Celtics, dude. NBA basketball, bro. NBA basketball. Let's talk about it, man. So, obviously, as we all know, the Celtics have, fallen to the Knicks in 6 in Gotham City, aka the Garden. Tatum got hurt. We went down 0-2 early, which, in my opinion, I think the series was lost then. We stormed back in Game 3. Game 4 was hopeful, and I believe that's where Tatum, what I say is he died. You know what I'm saying? That's when Tatum died, quote unquote. And we're now facing end of an early presumed dynasty, an assumed dynasty, but like an end of an era of like what was a very talented roster, which people had said nobody's beating this team in a 7-game series healthy. And as well as just, we were just going to kind of run through the league, which it looked like we didn't. I don't know where people stand on it, but for me, I feel like more or less, the Celtics needed better balance on offense. The Celtics shot themselves in the foot by going down 0-2 early, as well as going down 0-2. They should have won Game 2. So what are your thoughts quickly on how you felt about how the Celtics season ended and what's in the future? What do you think's in the future?
All right. How to sum this up? First off, hope get better soon. Jason Tatum, because ruptured Achilles ain't no joke.
Right, it's not a torn Achilles, and it's ruptured too. So I looked at there's a big difference.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had to look that up. I was like, oh shit.
That's unfortunate. But hopefully he gets better. That changes a lot. But let me go back to your actual question. I don't like our system, and I'll be way more nicer to an extent on my opinions of this man. But and can I also say this? Let me just be: is Joe a bad coach? No, he's not a bad coach. Is he an inexperienced coach? Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't say that because he's gotten 3 years under his belt, got a championship, went to the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't really go all that far because he's had game plans. The same game plan has been the same.
That's the problem. You got to adjust the game plan.
You do got to adjust it and balance it. But let me ask you this, and not to cut off where you were going, but I guess it's a part of the basketball conversation here is like we both play ball.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we're having this conversation. Yeah. So to blame Joe, we've known that there's been several times in timeouts where the coach is asking to change the shit up.
Yeah.
And the players, as players, would go out and do opposite of what the coach is saying.
No, I was gonna say I wasn't solely blaming. That's what I was starting.
I see. That's why sometimes I gotta shut the fuck up.
I wasn't solely. I gotta start with the leader because I feel like the leader determines a lot from my own experiences. We know.
Facts.
So so he's an experienced coach because I feel like he could have made certain adjustments rotation wise and scheme wise. I get that analytically threes and all that type of stuff, cool. But when you're playing a team that you can kill inside, or not even just going when it's shown that when you play balanced, and that's the 2 games that we won the series is when we played balanced, not just all threes. You gotta do what works for this series, and then go back to what you were doing. That didn't happen.
You gotta balance. I do agree with that.
The rotations to me were not the best. Whether that's him or whoever, I don't get that. Like, I'm sorry, I rock with Al. Cornette showed you he should have been playing. Like Al, if your shot's not on, you need to be sitting down.
Yes and no, because with Cornette it's like you need somebody to give the ball to make something happen. And you can't give the ball to Cornette to make something happen. That makes you essentially play 4 on 5.
I agree with you, but also we needed people out there that's going to give us more opportunities. And I'm not saying all the time, sit down, Al.
Right.
Play them together.
Balance the minutes in the correct fashion.
But we needed more hustle players in there to make an impact and have more of an interior.
Nah, that's real. That's real. Because
like
Josh Harden there getting rebounds on
like,
motherfuckers and shit. I know it's that early in game one.
Doing?
That's a fact.
You know, and then again, I don't know why why did he fall out the rotation? Like, I know he ain't prime to white, but come on, like
somebody said the same thing. Like, why is Cater not playing? I'm like, maybe the moment just be too big.
Player, but he didn't even get a chance.
He got a chance in the final couple minutes when we
like
got
in the
60.
blowout, Joey.
Yeah.
Like, so
especially when you know you got players like Mitchell Robinson out there.
And I'm no offense to Mitchell, but what's the difference?
What's the difference? That's what I was about to say. Like, what's the difference between those two? Those 7 footers that are gonna give you rebounds, alter shots, change games. Like, I've seen them all out on the island. They don't get like. For me personally, I think Al was getting cooked in the island. In the island situation, it was looking crazy.
That's all I'm saying.
It wasn't looking like Godfather Al from before.
I'm with you. We got our guys. You could see Porzingis was half dead. Like, why is he's hurting you more than he's helping you, and you keep waiting for him to wake up.
This miracle's not going to happen right now. If he gets full rest and we win the series, then maybe try again.
And again, I'm speaking for as a coach. Like, and I coach at Madison Park High School. Like, I generally rock with all of the players that ever coached like younger brothers, like, and they know them. And I'm saying that to say, when I've coached them in BNBL, I get caught in the feelings of like, dang, I want to see if homie plays it out and works through it, and like maybe he just maybe just off half. But then I'm sticking, and I'm sticking with dudes that like clearly show me that this is just not their game, and I got people on the bench that should be playing. So I understand coaching with your feelings, and then I like I said, it's something that I have to get better at, and I feel like I have, and I still got. But when I watch, I can say that because I'm watching someone else do it. Like, and I say that. Let me just sum it up with. He's to me a great player coach. Like, them dudes rock with him heavy, and you could tell. But that's not sometimes gonna get it done. That to me is that next level of him, like making those unemotional decisions. And again, I can't say I'm not in the locker room. I'm not in the huddles. I'm just going off of like I feel like he's stuck with people too long because he's just trying to hope something pans out. And nah.
Like, I mean, I feel and the thing is, like, I feel you and I feel him because from Joe's perspective, I'm like, this is the playoffs, and certain moments do just be too big for certain people.
You gotta try. You gotta see.
You do, but at the same time, like, sometimes you just can't throw that in there when I feel like when the season's on the line, I feel like you kind of got to play around like that. But when it's in the beginning phases, like, because once again, I feel like this series was not lost when we lost it.
No.
The series was lost in game 2 when the script was written.
So I said to say, like, all right, put Joe in shooting threes and adjustments over here. I already addressed that.
Right.
Game 1 and game 2, we should not have lost those games. You're up 20 points. Like, so
both
that's
times,
20 points both times. Yo, it's just math. Yep, 20 points.
Well,
like, all you got to do is make them have less opportunities to score than you. If you do that at least 10 times,
you win the game.
You win the game.
So let me ask you this, because a lot of people felt like, right, during those first 2 games, because we're reflecting over the series right now. So over those first 2 games, a lot of people didn't blame the lack of defense that came out of that.
And rebounding, because we weren't
lack of defense, rebounding, because like I mentioned, Josh Hart was in there crashing like a mug, which he always does, which I'm surprised that's never on the scouting report to put a body on that motherfucker. But it's like you have that going on. Then you have poor shot selections, which lead into now you're playing poor defense because now your scheme's all out of whack. Now, do you think the defense played a huge part in that, or do you feel like it was just shooting? Because I feel like a lot of people were focused so much on shooting, but I'm like, nah.
I do feel like we weren't playing with no effort on defense. Like we play effort. We play with effort in spurts.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Whereas like, and I say that to say it's like the way that they played defense in game 5. I wish I played defense like that. That's it. Like, what's going on? So there wasn't a possession where homies took a play off.
It's funny that you mentioned game 5 because game 5 is what leads us to feeling like we was about to come back in the series because game 5 was what I call the play with heart series or play with heart game. You know what I'm saying? It's the emotional game. It's the we gotta win one at home game. Like, there's a lot of other things that I think played a lot more into like that blinded myself and Celtic fans alike into thinking that we were going to walk into New York winning that game. And I say that because, yes, we controlled every aspect of the game up until last night. But at the same time, we controlled those aspects of the game with Jason Tatum at the helm as well. We controlled that part of the game because once again, it's an emotional thing. It wasn't so much like that's our team makeup that controls it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? It was more or less like it's an emotional thing. So what I was telling people after the win was like, I hope y'all know that this is literally just we're trying to save face. Once again, JT, this is for you. When you hear that, that means like they won that game for you. Now after that, they might pack it in because 9 times out of 10, you normally see teams packing in after that. Like they get that win to save the embarrassment.
But that's the disappointing part because I feel like Jalen was trying.
Yes, Jalen was trying.
Derek White was trying. He was just
off.
And dude's just game plan him. Like Derek White is amazing. I mean, hopefully I'm not creating a controversy by saying this, but I was like, yo, the way that he was playing, he looked like low key, if not Steph Curry, like a better version of Steph Curry because he was hitting crazy. I'm saying this not to say that he's not Steph Curry.
I can see the reach, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get
but
it.
In that in those moments, in those moments, the shots that he was hitting was Steph Curry like. And I say better because regardless of the steals that Steph Curry would get, Steph Curry is never known for being an amazing on-ball defender, and Steph Curry is never known for blocking shots at the level that Derek White does in the guard. So if you take that side of Derek White's game that Steph Curry does not have, and I don't think ever will have because he's older. But in the shots he was making and creating, that's why I was saying that. So, but I'm saying that to say that that's not who he is, though.
Right.
And clearly, because if that was who he is, there ain't no game plan that's is stopping you from doing that.
Right.
So like when bro, you're not doing that again. Like, okay, that was nice.
That's cute. We're not seeing back-to-back games.
Get you off the picture because that's not your makeup, even though you're an Olympic player.
Which, once again, only, in my opinion, just gave you more experience versus that means you're an elite player.
Yeah.
You know, that's not to say that, Derek White's not a really good player, but that's not also to say because he's on that roster, he's an elite player.
No.
I think that developed his game a lot more being there.
In confidence. Because Derek White,
what I'm saying.
The version of Derek White we got when we first got him, it's like, who is that dude? I don't even know.
Versus what came.
Yeah, versus we got right now. Like, that's what I'm saying. The dude we got right now.
The last 2 years of White have been crazy. The White years have been crazy over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And the Olympics have made this year look even crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I just feel like, a lot of people are putting too much blame on Joe because, once again, Joe makes the game plan. They executed Joe's game plan every time. What happens is like, there comes a point in time where you just have to know that I need to make these basketball plays to get us over the hump. Like, for example, and I can see how we would be fooled by Game 5 versus the other games because we played smarter basketball and the ball moved a lot more. But we also got to look at this, like maybe because the talent that we have to play, the ball has to move like that versus if, we have Tatum where he's a superior talent and the ball, yes, it has to move, but we have a guy that can literally reshape a whole defense based off how he moves.
So,
and Jaylen Brown doesn't move the same way. Jaylen Brown's my guy.
Yeah, no, I reckon he's earned my respect.
He just doesn't move. His offensive prowess and his offensive threat is not the same as Tatum's.
So what
you can contain Jaylen Brown's game a little bit more than you can Tatum.
Yeah, no, and what I was hoping for was this. Just like when you see John Morant go down, just like when you see, usually more times than not, when the star of the team goes down, everybody picks it up. They're able to get more opportunity
in the regular season.
Yeah, no, I know. So, but you seen in game 4 that like I was hoping that. Because, like, not for nothing, bro. Like, let's really look at this roster outside of Porzingis being half dead. It's like,
true.
You got a Drew Holiday that I know he's,
you're good.
I know he's hitting that point, getting on the other side of 30. But to me, he's still Drew Holiday and a talented player. You got Derek White, who with more of a role like he's shown can provide more opportunities. You got Jalen again, who is a superstar in his own right. That can show that with more opportunities, he can make something happen. Got Pritchard, 6th man of the year. So anyway, it's like I was hoping that with more people getting more touches, it will open things up for them. I know that Jalen doesn't facilitate the game like Tatum, but I was hoping everyone will pick it up.
Right.
And also because the ball's not being funneled or shots aren't even being taken by one person, or one person isn't expecting to go off because if he doesn't, we know what's about to happen. So that plays a factor too in the Celtics. And I'm not saying that Tatum takes away from the team. I'm saying that any star of any team is expected to take a certain amount of shots.
True.
So when you take that away, I'm like, okay, that's 20 more shots that could go to everybody else, and maybe everyone else, steps it up like they did. And it just didn't happen. Like, it's like that's where it's at. It just didn't happen.
Now, who do you think's because obviously we gotta have blame pie out there, and we're all blaming something. So who do you think's to blame for the entire meltdown in this series? Because in my opinion, I think Jason was gonna unfortunately tear his Achilles regardless of what had happened. To be honest with you,
why do you say that?
Because it's just basketball gods are gonna basketball gods. You know what I'm saying?
Why not be an Achilles though? I was hoping it was.
Well, sorry. I mean, I'm not gonna go to that extent, but because the injury already happened, I'm like, if it happened, I'm like, it was bound to happen at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how I look at it. Like
I see what
in this series, how it was going.
I will say this to save you. I think they got a lot of years in there. That's why I've been saying it. Him and Jalen got mad years on their bones and bodies, like they went to the post.
So you know what's funny about that, dog?
So
I know what you're saying.
There's
a lot of mileage and all this shit like that, right? But dog. Listen. These dudes been in the league for 8 years.
Yeah.
Right? We grew up. Nah. See, this is where I be feeling like the new gen players are soft and all this weird shit. Because once again, it goes back to like we're saying all this mileage shit, right? But I'm like, bro, these dudes sit out a lot of games. And not when I say like sit out a lot of games, but like they sit out games. Like they rest these players a lot. They don't practice.
Tatum don't be resting like that.
He don't, but I'm just saying overall, like they manage they manage them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They manage these minutes and all this stuff that's being logged. So with all these things happening, which we watched Tatum get his minutes managed, we watched him sit out a few games. Like he's not missing games because he's like, oh, I'm soft and my butt hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not saying that, but we're saying today's NBA versus NBA of yesteryear. We'll just say yesteryear, right? Where dudes played all 82, played Olympics, did all this, and like once again, their careers might have been cut short, and like not even say cut short because they still extended their careers as time went on because once again, sports medicine got better. But these dudes played, they practiced, and they did all that, and they didn't even have these injuries that we're excusing these players for because of all this mileage and minutes. So they had the same mileage and minutes back then, but you didn't see these crazy injuries.
Well, I'll say this, and again, like, bro, the game is so much faster now. Homies play so much at a higher level of athleticism now than back then. There was more half-court ball. Like, you will watch a game, and they'll go up and down the court in like mad times within 30 seconds. That wasn't how
you're gonna bring analytics into this.
No, I'm not bringing that. I'm just watching physical people. You wear out their bodies more than they ever have in any other generation. Like,
but here's my counter to that is that they still went up and down doing because if you look over the history of a lot of shit, the style was more half court and slowed down. Yes, but the physicality of that is equivalent. To just running up and down. Because you're saying, yes, they're just... Because once again, they're running up and down. Yeah. It's not the physicality part. And once again, they do get a little physical every now and then. Yeah. And it's different, it's faster, it's more explosive, all of that.
Physicality, you got it. I'm not saying like all the back...
So it's like, it kind of... I'm saying it cancels that out.
No, but think about the injury. Achilles, ACL, knees being blown out, calves. These are leg injuries. These ain't like shoulders... Yeah.
So like, let me bring out a funny conspiracy for that, because once again, do we blame the lack of practice? Do we blame the shoes? Do we blame this time management that we got going on? Because once again, these same lower injuries that are happening did not happen back then. These players were a lot more physical, a lot more powerful, just as athletic. It's just the moves are different.
I blame the change in basketball. Like, I blame that there's not enough half-court basketball and there's way more transition basketball than ever before. Chucking threes. When you chuck a three, where's that ball going?
It's a long ball.
Well, if I'm not back there, what's happening?
It's a fast break.
I gotta get back on defense. Then you stop them from getting the fast break. Then you come back, shoot another three. What's happening again? Same exact.
But that's up and down with no physicality. Yeah. That's up and down.
But I'm running more, going up and down, stopping, cutting, again, and also too. And I'm now really think about you weren't doing all this Kyrie twitch.
And I was literally about to. That was going to be my next segue.
That pole that you're
do you feel like all these I call them herky jerky moves because remember that like 10 years ago, we saw the knees being the bad thing.
Yeah.
With the herky-jerky, the Euro steps and all that, which have been more prevalent in the style of play. Versus how it was when Mono was the only motherfucker doing it and shit like that. I'm only going off
No, but that's real talk. Yeah.
But like, I think these moves, these unique extra moves that some, in my opinion, are fucking travels. But, you know, it is what it is. I grew up in a pro hot spin move era. You know what I'm saying? So, like, these moves that I see where I'm like, that pivot move, but okay, it's the gather and it's all this shit. Yeah. It's different. But no, I'm like, these moves plays a part too. Play a huge part in these injuries. Too. Like, all this and step back and, you know, all that side to side.
That plays a part too, because I'll say this now. I'm going into my development trainer bag. People also don't train their bodies to do these moves. Like, they don't, like, you're doing them and you're wearing out, like you said, the ACL. But what if you train your body to be in those movements? Like, a lot of people aren't even there with it. They squatting and doing lunges. That ain't training you to deal with that twitch. All right, sharp cut here.
Right. You need some elastic band training. Exactly. That little, what's that shit?
On top of that, you know what?
That shit.
Ladders. But also, I bring it another level. These homies ain't playing outside as much as we used to play.
You ain't playing period. They don't gotta be outside. I think you just say playing period.
I throw that across. Like, these are like all these things are factors that I throw. Like, when you go outside playing with your neighbors, friends, whatever, you probably playing soccer, frisbee, football, basketball, all in one day, intact. Where it's like so I saw that your body's able to move in different ways and get used to moving in different ways. These homies from the point they're born to now just playing ball. So your body's always used to moving in one way. So when you keep doing all them weird movements, not weird, but you keep doing all the wild movements that don't aren't getting you prepared for when they happen in the game. After a while, your body's gonna break.
It's not used to being stretched out. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, one way like to another and shit. And it's like you said, it's always non-contact. But here's the thing though. You don't even see him off the moves though. You see him running though.
But then that goes back to what I'm saying. Like, that's me saying that's just because of the style of way we're playing. Homies are jumping from the free throw line like it's normal. Homies are jumping from doing all like from long distances. They're wearing out their ligaments in their bodies way more than they had in the past because the game was lower to the ground.
It's these
the game was lower to the ground.
And I'm glad you said that, and I'm finally glad to have this conversation with another ball player because, you know, I have these conversations with people who don't play basketball, who just casually watch the game, and who like don't understand this type of shit we're talking about. So they're just like, nah, like, you know, it's just an injury. And it's like, nah, dog, like, there's a difference in this shit. And I think it's just years of just abuse to the body. That's what I was just basically Bro, you've been playing since you was 8 years old.
Like, come on.
You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, these younger players, you've been doing all this shit since 8. Like, shit, I could probably still do certain moves and play at 36.
But after a while,
it hurts, but I'm not doing these crazy moves. So, like, my longevity is different versus, like, I feel like, for example, like, we've seen kids younger than us that we've grown up playing ball with, and they pop their Achilles. It's because of these fucking moves. It's literally because of these fucking moves, dog. Like, these moves are fucking crazy, dog. Like, yeah.
So it's all to you, bro.
It's all about
I can't get with the load management piece. Like, I used to think that way too. I was like, dang, they resting too much, and then the body's like.
I didn't get onto the load management as much versus more practice. I know teams ain't practicing like they used to.
I can give it.
So that's where like, and the thing is, I feel like just listening to NBA players.
Because KG even said that.
That's what I'm saying. Listening to NBA players talking about it who are just around these facilities, I got to take their word for it because they were the yesteryears that practiced. So if they're saying these guys ain't practicing, that means you're not used to the same bumps and bruises and the same thing. So on top of the fact that you're not practicing as much, on top of the fact that you have these herky-jerky moves, and you can blame the shoes. I'm not going to blame the shoes as much. Because motherfuckers playing in Chuck Taylors and shit.
And also,
so
these NBA players have shoes customized to them.
To make certain things fit to like their foot. So I'll ignore the shoe factor as much. It goes back to like motherfuckers playing in Chuck Taylors and had a 15-year career. So like, it ain't the shoes versus the moves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the shoes
and the change of style of play.
Right. You know, the evolution of the game is, I think, the cause of why these injuries. Because once again, you don't even see too many people tearing the ACL anymore. They're popping their fucking.
The ACL is the new ankle.
That's what I'm saying. That's the new ankle. You back in the year.
Yeah, the Achilles.
You know what I'm saying? The Achilles is the ACL now. Possible career ender shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the game has changed in that regard. But going back to the Celtics, dog, like with Tatum's injury being such a factor and the future of the Celtics being kind of uncertain, I guess, which is weird because from my standpoint, I don't see why, and this goes for all media across the board, and I get the finance part and everything else, but if you're trying to win, the finances shouldn't matter, right? But at the same time, all right, if the finances do matter, why do you talk about moving your main piece? Like, I didn't hear about when the Warriors are going through their thing. I didn't hear about the trade of Splash Bros. So I don't see why you would consider trading the James.
There was talk about Clay and Draymond.
Not every year.
Towards the end.
Towards the end when like
you said
when they got 4 chips. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When they got 4 chips, like when Clay was 26, 27, 28.
Yeah, not the way up.
You wasn't hearing about they got a down year or not even down year. Something
real
funny
talk,
happened.
They were actually saying like, we'll eat the tax.
And that's another thing. They even said they eat the tax. So when you're trying to win and compete, I think you eat these taxes, especially when you know you're a contending team, especially when you can build for your core that's been there 7 years in a row.
But the tough part right now is I know we're having a free-flowing conversation. It's like they didn't factor in a ruptured Achilles. That
nobody does.
I know what I'm saying. That changes up all future planning because you don't know how he's going to come back from that.
1,000%.
I hope the best for him because I know he has a great team around him. So again, I think he's going to be okay.
It's all about how your body takes everything, though. It's all about your rehab process.
Not to put anyone on the spot. Have you seen anyone come back from ruptured Achilles and be the same?
Yeah, KD.
Yeah,
literally KD.
Yeah, the calf.
Kobe. You know what I'm saying? And Kobe, and when we say Kobe, he was older, but he still came back, still doing Kobe things. Yeah. So with that being said, and I'm glad you went to that. So the effect of Tatum's injury, I think people are overplaying it just a tad because we've seen too many instances now where players have came back.
And it's different.
Like, the sports medicine is different. He's 26, 27, 28 years old.
True.
He's still young. This is not his jumping leg. This is not his jumping leg.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? He's not his jumping leg. It's a right Achilles. You know what I'm saying? My man's game isn't prevalent off his
He was tapping into that though.
He was, but here's the thing: when you get into that older bag, though, you leave that alone anyway.
He wasn't that old.
Yes, he wasn't, but now he's old now.
But
you know what I'm saying? That now the Achilles is old because you ain't got one. So now he has to go back into that slicker game because I think his jumper's gonna be smooth.
I know I'm just bad right now. They donated knees. Like someone donated. So this is not how the knee got donated. Was not for me. Like someone was somebody that passed away and they donated.
Okay.
Great. The new GoDaddy Arrow has AI marketing tools to help small businesses.
The kneecap. But what's funny is people are donating. Like
you can be an organ body donor and shit like that. Yeah.
So it's like, so he may be able to get that prime Achilles back.
All right, sure. If that's possible, whatever. You know what I mean? But even if not, right? Even if not, my man is still young. Yeah. It's not his jumping leg. His game is primarily finesse and jump shooting. Yeah. So, yes, it's going to take him 2 years to come back, but I think we're all panicking about the status of his injury. Now, once again, it could go one of two ways.
Yeah.
It can go KD, and he'd be fine and still be a great scorer. Or it can go Derrick Rose, and he's now injury bound, which, God forbid, that happens.
No, I wouldn't say all that, because he's been pretty healthy up until.
I mean, Derrick Rose was pretty healthy up until.
He
always was having knick-knacks. He was having a lot of knick-knacks up until then. So that's another thing. Like, once again, he's been, and that's another plus. He's been an Iron Man this entire time.
Yeah.
It was a freak-ass little accident where he took a
quick step.
Yeah, and it just did what it did, which goes back to like what everybody says and what you said is like, it's the mileage, it's the amount of basketball being played, which factors into the herky-jerkies, I will say, too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So all that combined with just stress and everything else, it's bound to happen. So hopefully he comes back.
But it's just my thing.
85% of what he is.
Yeah, the makeup of the team, Porzingis got to go. I'll be out there and say.
I mean, I've been screaming to trade for Sabonis for a while, and as much as I've been an advocate for
are they
Porzingis,
giving up Sabonis?
I mean, I know Sabonis wants to go. And that's just, once again, I'm just thinking of the next 7 foot, the next big man.
So anyways, Porzingis got to go.
But Porzingis got to go, and I think you got to come up off a Holiday.
Unfortunately, I rock with you, so I don't want to do that. But
I don't want to do neither, but you have to make the team better.
Porzingis got to go.
Well, yeah, we got 2 years of I call Porzingis, dog. There's always something Porzingis. And it's not even a knock against, because when he's out there, he performs.
Exactly.
It's just that there's always something.
I'm waiting for him to be out.
There's always something. I'm waiting. I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's messing up things. That, like, for example, if he was remotely available during this series at any point in time, we're winning this series. You know what I'm saying?
And see what happens until we meet the Timberwolves, who I got winning.
But that's a whole other conversation in itself. But, I will definitely say do that. But for what and how that's going to go, excuse me, I'm not too much into the front offices like that. So I don't know what their idea of what their makeup is for the team moving forward. Because I've always said this for a while. It's like, we just got to get tougher on the inside. We need guys we need dogs on the inside. You know what I mean? Because that's what kills us every year is that inside presence. And we got it with Porzingis when he wasn't fucking there. Yeah. And we had it there with Kata, who just wasn't in rotation. And we had it there with Luke Walton. Luke Walton for Cornette.
So I'll throw out another scenario. I'll say this. Do we take AJ?
I'm not here for any tanking talks.
Do we try our best, but if we don't do our best, go get AJ?
I guess. Because here's my thing, right? There's 2 things that I saw from last night's game. And I told a lot of people this. I'm like, this team that we have constructed is a great team where if something like this was to happen, we're deep enough where we can sustain a series. But on the flip, we saw what could happen on the long side if teams really game plan for us. And is that something that's sustainable for 82 games to get us into the playoffs? This roster currently. And obviously the roster is going to be shaken up a little bit. But I was also on the mindset, because remember, before the Achilles injury, there was speculation of moving the entire roster. But then after, there was rumblings of they might as well stand pat and not move at all.
But, so here's what I think. I'm not trying to seem flip-floppy. Healthy, I don't think anybody's beating us.
Well, that's a given.
Healthy, I don't think
nobody was healthy.
So I'm not going to try to use that as an excuse. So healthy, I don't think anyone's beating us. So I don't want to seem like, you all are switching up on them now where everyone was talking crazy. I still think healthy, nobody's beating us. But like you said, we're currently not healthy. So with us looking at the landscape of this team, you gotta preserve it. And I'm saying this, only trade Porzingis if you're getting something worthwhile back.
That's what I'm saying.
Keeper. Only trade Drew Holiday if you get, because you got already built-in chemistry.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can go get. If you guys don't trust Cater, you guys feel Cornette just ain't it. You can go
get. Cater's a free agent, by the way, too.
Okay, so as I said, you can go get somebody to fill that role, because there's a Mitchell Robinson in every draft, and no disrespect to Mitchell Robinson. There's a Mitchell Robinson in every draft. You can go get a dude like that off free agency or whatever.
But you know what's funny is that it's not even like you need a dude like a Mitchell Robinson. You need to cut the fat of dudes like a Hauser. And I hate to say like a Pritchard, you need to beef up. You need to beef up, because a Hauser is a one-trick pony. I hate to say it.
That's why they got Baylor, though.
That's what I'm saying. But what's Baylor's game going to develop into? Because I like what I've seen, but I want to know what's going to come out of that. I think
Baylor can be a combo of Pritchard and Hauser. If you put them together,
yeah, sure. Yeah. But we don't know what that's going to develop into year 2. We don't know how that's going to be when how do I put it? When you're on the scouting report. Because when you're on the scouting report versus we don't know what he's going to do when you're just out there hooping, there's 2 different things. So, for me, I feel like you get rid of a guy like a Hauser. So, I guess this conversation right now is more you get rid of a guy like Hauser and maybe PP just for size-wise. It's not because PP can't perform, but if we want to beef up because we get beat up in the bench situations where we don't have the size, you get a guy who's more versatile off the bench who can shoot and play D and get to the cup. Because Hauser can't get to the cup.
See, here's my thing, too.
And you can easily guard that.
And then, these are all questions that I know we can't answer.
I'm not gonna lie, I'll make music in a closet if I have to. So I use samples because, I play drums, but I don't really have space in my room for a drum kit. But I can still hear, the drums I want in my head. And it'll still come out with...
And people can... we started off playing Jordan Walsh, and then we just stopped playing Jordan Walsh. We stopped just, focus on his development.
Yeah, I didn't understand that too, especially when you brought him up from the main clause.
Yeah, and he's that player that he again, as far as I know, He's a hustle dude. He was starting to hit his three.
Yeah.
He was
having a slump at first.
Yeah, but he started to hit his three. He's that hustle player. So, I'm just saying it's like, why are we developing those type of dudes? And I do get what you're saying. Like, again, pressure does pose a disadvantage, but we also still have hit people like him, Walsh, and Cater at the time, again, he's a free agent now, but that we could build up to be these guys that we feel like we're missing. So that is beyond you or I. Like that's front office stuff that got nothing to do with us, but it's just like you all have to make a decision. Like a decision definitely has to be made on that front. Like either keep building in house, and again, I'll be real, building in house regardless, and a team of just Jalen and Porzingis and everybody got. It's just like, okay, what does the next year of y'all look like? Is it the same?
We're gonna be a play-in team, I think, next year.
And then that's why.
Because you can game plan for this team a lot easier.
Yeah.
And once again, and it goes back to kind of as well how we played without Tatum, like when we won the game. We looked real good as far as the ball moved. We focused a lot more on the mid-ranger games, and IQ looked different. And this is no knock against with Tatum, but what stood out for me the most, and the plays were fucking identical too, which was like the first play, which was in game 2, where I think it was 79-86, and Tatum was in the corner, and Al was at the basket, and then Brunson fell. IQ says pass the ball, cut the momentum, get the easy 2. But their style says take the 3, live or die with it, which I'm like, that's not basketball at that point, which I also say the Celtics shot away from playing basketball a lot of times. They shot like they were down 20 versus playing basketball.
Then that's when
hold on, real quick. Now you good. And then going into the next game where we played without him, and that same exact play happened. I think it was either Tatum, it was Jaylen Brown with the ball, and then we dumped it down to Al with the easy dunk, and then it kept the momentum. We won the game, and that's basketball because we're playing in live action shit versus like what the media would say robotic.
That's what I'm saying, and then not to jump around. That's why I go to like. That's why I started off talking about the influence of Joe, the inexperience of Joe. Like. Why is that your system to live and die like that? You can go back to that.
You started off the year with the Orca offense, and here's my thing where I hate when people kind of flip on Joe. Yes, but you can't flip on something that won you a chip last year, right?
Do you really want me to go?
No, we can go there, but we're not going to go there because I know where you're going to go with that. I know exactly where you're going with that because, there was Riddle team.
He wasn't challenged as a coach last year.
Questionable. It was because the team was on a heater last year.
Who challenged? But again,
the team was on a heater, so it's hard to get challenged with the team on the heater.
How you're not challenged? Really good.
But here's my thing: it's like that one you won last year that's gotten you to finals and conference finals appearances every time. So we can't get mad when it doesn't work and we lose, but we love it when we win.
I don't think.
And that's where I think. No, because listen, I think people love it. When we're winning, everybody's like, I love it.
Boom, boom,
but when it goes bad, you hate it. So it's like you can't pussyfoot around with the way it goes. Like you gotta like it or hate it. You gotta be all the way in on it, or you gotta be all the way out.
You just said it. Like I think people that know ball hate it because it's not ball.
Yeah, it's not ball when so here's the thing. The Warriors already made this a thing. So I've accepted that this is a copycat league.
The Rockets doubled down.
Right, and this is a copycat league. So this is the blueprint for the NBA. And you have to remember this is just more exciting basketball for the casuals. So I factor all that in and I'm just like, hey, do what you gotta do. But when it comes down to when you're up, because that's my problem. They get up every time. They're talented enough to play that offense. The problem is when they're up 20, they start shooting the ball and playing offense like they're down 20. And that's the problem.
But
it's not the offensive style itself.
That's the coach.
See, but that's where we're not in the timeouts. We're not in these timeouts here. And that's what Joe says. And we both play ball. And we both understand that the coach can scream and yell and preach whatever he wants. But the minute you get out there,
it happened 2 games in a row.
It happens 2 games in a row, but that's the script. And once again, this is Tibbs. This is a good coach,
but that's not a
defensive coach.
He's a good coach.
You know what I mean? This is a hard-nosed guy who he knows how to game plan defensively.
Yeah,
and that's where we lack, and this is where I think people miss Ime because we focus a lot more on the defensive end.
The way the Rockets played this past playoffs is how.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Hold on, let me check the chat real quick. Bad Wolf, what's going on? Appreciate you popping in. Let me know how we sounded, because I know you mentioned that you had to have things all the way up or we was too far from the mic. So let me know how things are sounding. Lori, appreciate you popping in. OT's still in here, man. We're going to get to the music in a minute. We just rolling down the line. As you see, you know, this is, as the title says, this is the BITO'S Couch Potato Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Reactions live from the couch. So we get into all of that, but we podding right now at first. And I'm hoping that this is entertaining for y'all as y'all are in here. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna keep it going. Let me know if y'all got any questions, if y'all got any requests out there, because I'm paying attention to that as well, too. But we right back to the sports thing. We got a whole agenda today. We got an agenda. But right back to that. So, where were we?
We was talking about how, I don't really want, like, we can't, like, the whole Ime thing, and how Ime would have
they would have looked dominant more on the defensive end, which, like, once again, that's where I think it boils down to, like, defensively, we lack focus there. You know what I mean? Because once again, we focus so much on orca offense that we didn't care about, prison defense is what I like to say.
And that used to be our
that was our identity.
Like, and then I just feel like the effort just wasn't there. And,
it wasn't like there because it was the off and on switch. It's that off and on switch that I think every championship team kind of develops after they win the championship the first year. And we developed that. We came out rocking the first, before November, December-ish. And then November, December, January, we had those funny little games and funny records and that slippage. Yeah. Which for me, I was like, yeah, these are the quote unquote boring games. But if you're trying to repeat as champions, you would have to have this focus to all 82, and they didn't have that. And I think this is what bit us in the ass, is that we had that on and off switch thing come about, and we couldn't recover from that because once again, you can have your on and off switch against fucking the Hornets. You know what I'm saying? But you can't have your on and off switch on for contending teams, especially in the postseason. Yeah. And I think the media played a large part in us losing this series. I'm not saying it like that, but because just like we listen to the media, the players listen to the media. That's what I mean by that. So the media giving us the overwhelming favorites of it. I don't think we, as a team, historically in the Jays era, we have never performed to the expectations of when we're the overwhelming favorites. And that's what I mean by the media. When we're underdogs, we perform well.
No, I guess for me, if that was a factor, I can't buy that. I'm probably one of the most understanding people out here.
You ain't jacking that? You ain't jacking that one?
Y'all turn the TV off. I can't get with that because it's like, end of the day, do you want to win a championship or not? I don't care if people, we played in games where too many games where people thought we were supposed to win. And I ain't really listening to that. I want to win a championship regardless.
Right.
So it's like, that's why I can't get it.
I mean, I feel you because I don't get with it, but I think it just plays a factor because now what seeps in is your ego and entitlement. Mm-hmm. And with that, it's like, for example, we go up 20, we start playing like they're supposed to just give up on the game where we're all old enough to remember that in today's NBA, 20 points is really a 5-point lead. You know what I'm saying? It's really, 20 points in today's NBA is a 5 to 10 point lead. Because now you bang 2 threes, get a couple of twos, and some stops. You're right back in the game, and now it's a game again. Versus back in the day, 20 was a 20 piece. Give up the sticks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So shit a little bit different right now. But yeah, I mean, Celtics I think need to do better.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, decisions are just front office decisions that are behind us.
Yeah, I mean, everything is beyond us. Everything is just fandom and lore and just predictions and assumptions or whatever. Which, once again, great talking pieces like this for the podcast shits and people that want to be talking and stuff is like, well, here you go. This is what we can talk about. But I think the Celtics should, for the most part, stand packed. They should probably beef up the bench, if anything. I don't think you should, split the core, especially if you're trying to contend and compete. Now, if you're trying to go a different direction, all that stuff about moving the major pieces in the core, I guess makes sense. But as far as if you're trying to stay in that, because you can make mistakes like the Heat. You can make mistakes like what's another team that kind of was in there and has been there, and then they made one false move off panicking, and then they fell off the rocker, the Nuggets even. You know what I'm saying? The Nuggets. by not bringing back certain things.
And, we'll see how this
you know what I'm saying?
Goes.
Exactly. We'll see how it goes tonight. But that's a prime example of it.
No, but I do know what you
they're
mean.
not going to the promised land. Yeah, you make one move where like that kind of rattles. Like for example, you don't touch the Jays.
Yeah.
You don't touch Derek White, and PP is up for discussion. You know what I mean? PP is kind of up for discussion, but I think you can come up off that. But I think people are focused on the friendly contract aspect of things.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm like, well, you can kind of upgrade the talent because his value is not going to be any higher than it is right now.
Spurs losing Kawhi.
That's another thing. Spurs losing Kawhi. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm just trying. I know
Toronto losing Kawhi, even by not just doing certain things.
I know this was a part of the team, but like Kawhi chose to leave Toronto.
Yes, you're right. You're right. San Antonio was
somebody
out.
It's more about that. It's like, nah, we'll be fine without you.
I mean, shit. Even the Warriors, to be real, you think getting off of Claver is really the smartest thing?
Do cable prices have your wallet against the ropes? Are you pinned down by too many streaming services, or with a?
I think they could have figured something out with Clay. Because Clay looked relatively good all year.
He did, but who knows who's to say that didn't motivate him to get in better shape, and he was just coasting over there.
I mean, I think everybody has a down year when the whole team's having a down year. And it goes,
why are we missing the biggest Luka? The Mavs trading
Luka,
and not knowing how that's about to play out.
Or shit, honestly, the Bucks.
Get rid of Drew. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's these where I think we're in that funny little realm right now, where we need to be very careful about what move we actually make. Because to be honest with you, if you really get rid of Derek White and the Jays and you do anything with that, you're messing up your franchise for years to come. And it goes back to now you're doing this because you're worried about this Tatum Achilles injury and the
cover. But you can't, and I don't even know if this is a comment. You can't trade either one of them. Like you can't. Like you can't.
As far as who?
Jason Tatum.
I think Brown you can trade now because of remember he signed that deal a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now.
If you trade Jalen, there's so much that can come from that. Trade Jalen,
but now you're debating
losing a community. Well, I don't know what that
means. Right.
You're losing a community figure. You're then saying we are tanking because Kick Tatum ain't playing next year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and Porzingis ain't playing because I can call that right now. It's like,
he'll
play 30 games.
He'll play. How about saying he ain't playing 60 plus.
But you're relying on him to be around,
right?
And
he's getting paid right now to be around like that too. So
and now you're saying that Derek White is the guy of your team, and I rock with Derek White, but that, like we just talked about, that's not
sustainable.
Yeah, it's not his makeup. So you're tanking for an agent if you do that, which I'm not mad with. If you want to, again, with being
I ain't gonna like it though.
If you're saying that I want to trade Jalen to tank to get AJ, even though again he's not gonna. I don't know. He may not just jump into the league and be ready to go like Jalen is, but but you're saying that may be the future of our franchise.
And that's weird to say because you still have the face of your franchise now.
Yeah, but you like what the Lakers do. You went and got your future face to make up for the face now because at some point.
But that's a little different though because you already had an aging star and then you just went and got an established star. Versus now you have a star, but you don't know what your star is going to be like when it comes up out that chamber. So now it's a whole different, and you don't know what that potential star is going to really be like either. You're going off of potential.
But I was only giving a scenario if you trade Jalen. Because if you trade Jalen, you're going to be one of the worst teams in the East. You can't trade Jalen.
You can't trade Jalen at this juncture. You can't trade Jalen unless you're just saying we're tanking.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which, I don't think in the last couple of years there's been no real standout talents where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm willing to throw it all away for that. Even Cooper Flag with what's going on with that, I'm like, he's good, but with how teams are acting, I'm like, he's no Wemby.
No.
He's no Braun.
No.
He's no once every 20 year type of dude to me because that's really once again.
No, I think he's special, but he's not a generational talent.
Right. You know what I mean? So you don't just go make these crazy moves when you're in the middle of your peak and shit too. You guys are peaking, and you guys have a down year in the middle of your peak because of an injury.
Are we peaking? All right, we are.
I feel like you. I would say because think about it. We made the Jays. I can say the team, but we'll go off the Jays. The Jays made the finals under 28 before they lost.
All right.
Made it the next year deep. Got hurt. but we were projected to really make the finals that following year. Then the next year we get there, get the chip.
Yeah.
Then this year, and that's within a 3-year, 4-year window. So we're in that window right now. We're in that like 5-year pocket, but because they were young, we're still in that position because they're not even 30 yet. Once they hit the 30 mark is when, like you say, the window's closed.
But what we're seeing is they can't do it on there. Not that I don't know.
No one ever could. It's just that you need the roster to be more in depth. You know what I'm saying? You need the roster and the system to mesh. And the system worked until injuries happened.
I think Anthony Edwards is about to potentially show us somebody can do it on their own if you got it like that.
Yeah, but if you got it like that too, right? You about to see some shit where it's like, all right, well, the defending champs went down, and then you're gonna say, well, they went up against the Pacers instead of the Cavs, for example, because the Pacers are the weaker team, and that's because the Cavs had injuries. You're gonna have that same conversation, so it's not even gonna be more or less that because the conversation will always be like, what was the path?
Yeah, so
at least Anthony Edwards, no, not even Anthony Edwards' path has not been clean. He beat the Stephenless Warriors. You know what I'm saying? They played one game with Steph.
They would have won.
No, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But Steph is a huge factor in that. You know what I'm saying? That changes everything.
True.
Then who they play first round? Well, that was their first round, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know.
Oh, no, my bad. They played the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm about to say, then they played the Lakers, which like.
Watch the latest shows all in one place and get up to 6 accounts per household.
Anybody that knew ball knew the Lakers weren't doing shit in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? That was just Luka and LeBron name thing right there. They wasn't really doing nothing crazy in the playoffs. So, did he really? He got the legend killer moniker thing going and shit. And I like it. Don't get me wrong. But like,
it's different.
It's very different. But at the same time, it's like you got to also factor in that like he's got a solid ass fucking team too. The Devo boy, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels. We got Jaden McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I like this new version of Randall.
Yes.
Jaden McDaniels is an up-and-coming guard or forward.
And Rudy's finally playing the spot that he's playing, which is being a big guy, blocking shit, being a paint presence. That's all.
You can find a Rudy Gobert in every draft.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. But he is playing his role. I just think that you're seeing an undeniable force like a LeBron carry a team.
Okay. Oh, you're saying that it factor.
Yeah.
It's that it factor.
Put any other up-and-coming star on that team. You're not doing this. Any of them. Pick. I don't care who you pick.
I mean, Hallie might be an arguable case because Hallie's been doing it right now. Hallie's been
he
closing games,
team.
closing series.
He got a better team.
Better team than Ant-Man?
Yes. as like top down, like
I don't know, bro.
Team.
Randall's better than Turner.
I'm just talking no deeper. Like not they got like that. I feel like they're more top heavy.
I don't know.
You got Halliburton. You got Nembhard, who's playing tough. And I'm just throwing out.
And when Carlisle's not mad, he'll play. So like
Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam.
I forget about Pals every time.
Neesmith, who we gave up on too soon. That's another conversation for another time. Benedict Mathurin's hooping, but he's not getting into fights. It's like so.
Well, here's my thing. Like that, you just named I think 5 players. You named their 5.
And I'm probably missing. T.J. McConnell's holding them down.
That's Conley.
Yeah, you're right.
Like they cancel each other out. I think the talent's superiorly better.
I just don't think the talent of Halliburton is like.
But what Hallie's doing is special in his run. Though.
True. I'm not trying to take nothing away from that.
That's special.
I just think that Anthony Edwards is the closest thing, it factor to LeBron that we've seen. We wanted it to be Zion. Zion's diet wouldn't let it be Zion. So, but like it's Anthony Edwards is the closest thing to LeBron's impact on a team that we've ever seen, and that's why I think that's the thing that we're missing from our team.
Well, that's Tatum.
Sometimes
I think that's
it's
Tatum.
supposed to be.
I think that's Tatum because we have this system that revolves very much around team and talent. It's hard for Tatum. Well, it's not even harder for Tatum to display it because he does display it, his numbers.
Yeah,
he does display.
I'm not trying to take nothing away.
So I don't think it's anything in that regard. I just think that, like, once again, Tatum has a lot more that he has to work with than Ant-Man does.
Yes.
In order for that it factor to become this thing that we're talking about.
And he's in a tough conference.
Who, Ant-Man?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, the West is always tougher.
That's what he's doing. Like, you know
but
what I
like,
mean?
what's he doing? He's just winning games. He's getting to the second round. Like,
He's just winning games.
But no, he went to the Western Conference the last 2 years.
He's beat.
But other than that, what he's been doing?
I'm only coming at that
because he's beat LeBron, he's beat Steph, he's beat KD.
Yeah.
He's the legend killer.
Yeah.
You're falling for the tricks. You're falling for the okie doke.
I'm just saying he is doing
You're
it.
falling for he's beating all these Asian ass superstars. These Asian ass superstars. It's not like you're beating because he ain't beat Joker with that bullshit. He ain't beat Shea with that bullshit.
He may.
You know what I'm saying? So talk to me when he's beating the dudes that really matter. Don't talk to me when you beating these old ass niggas.
All right, and then you clip that because when he does it, I want to replay.
That's fine. But we not gonna talk about Ant-Man like he's doing this shit to like prime niggas. He ain't doing it to prime dudes, and that's what the league's about right now. It's like, yeah, he's getting the old niggas up out of here. Cool. It's cute. It's good for the resume.
Yeah,
but it don't mean shit though. And the resume of just like, look who you beat. But in the grand scheme of it, I mean, shit. Let's put it like this: Jordan lost to Bird every time in the playoffs, but nobody gives a fuck about that because he's 6-0 in the finals.
Yeah. All I'm trying to say is don't. All I'm trying to say is don't dismiss what he's done, and also not look at him like he's not the closest thing to LeBron. He can generally.
I think that's still a stretch.
He can generally take a team of dudes that name me another up and coming rising star that you could put on this Timberwolves team and do. What he's doing. He get out of the culture. They got Randall playing ball. Like they got Randall out here looking like an all-star.
But Randall been hooping like that. It just be looking funny in New York. That's all he been hooping like
Randall
that.
ain't been doing.
He was doing that in New York.
Randall, he's playing like he playing for a contract. Like he's playing with some edge. Like Randall ain't no punk, but Randall ain't flying around like he's been flying around. Ain't getting whether leadership did that or not. I'm just saying that it's like, yo,
maybe it's Tibbs that was fucking it up.
Maybe. But I'm just saying you're looking at a dude that is playing with a revitalized Randall, Danny McDaniels, who still isn't proven yet. He's up and coming too. Conley, who is I rock with Conley since Ohio State days. But
he's that vet leadership for
but
him
he's
right now.
Old. Like,
and then you got Debo who just steps in and does his thing.
Yeah, like come on, like. There ain't no real deep team like that, but he's making it happen. And
nah, you forget about Nas here. You forget about Nas.
And then my bad, Nas. But it's like he's doing
he's got a solid team.
He's out here wiping teams. Like it ain't like they going to 6-7. Like he's wiping.
But for example, like
and
the game they closed out, that's a big factor. The game they closed out, he didn't even play the best. It was Randall, my nigga. It was Randall like Conley, and he had like 8 turnovers, dog.
But he's still like carrying the team. You have yet to name
not that closeout game. I get what you're saying.
You have yet to name me
another to give him this, I said put Tatum on that team. They get a chip.
This year?
I don't know. Any year we talk about. I don't know. You throw Tatum on that motherfucker. It's the same thing. He gonna get to the same conference finals. Back to back.
Okay, I'll give you Tatum.
Luka, same thing. Luka take that same team and do the same thing. He did it with Dallas. He beat the same nigga we talking about with Dallas.
I'm not a Luka guy. I can't do it.
I'm a Luka guy, but I know Luka's game isn't chip worthy.
So that's what we talking about. You can't throw that man on a team and say you're gonna carry when I got Ant potentially winning.
But Ant ain't even been to a finals yet.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Luka been to one and been to a conference finals 3 times. So I gotta still put Luka over them.
Yeah, Kyrie.
Not the first time.
Wait,
when they beat Booker and them. When he was looking at Booker like this in the meme and shit, and they beat them niggas by like 60. He went to the conference finals that year too, I think.
Oh, yeah, I said the actual finals.
I mean, that's a big step, though. It's a milestone.
No, I know.
Because we giving Ant all this credit for conference finals, so they clearly matter. You know what I'm saying? They clearly matter a little bit.
I'm just saying that I give Luka credit for him and Kyrie going to the finals last year. I'm not giving him for beating the even though that was a great performance. But I'm just saying, don't doubt Ant's greatness. That's it.
I ain't doubting Ant's greatness at all, but I think we're overdoing Ant's greatness is how I look at it. I think we're kind of overdoing his greatness to the point where it's like, what has he really done? Because like the same praise that we're giving Ant-Man, I think we never didn't give this praise to Tatum while Tatum was doing all of this.
But that's a whole different conversation. Like people, I think the best comparison that some people said is like he's our generation's Tim Duncan, even though I generally did not rock.
I don't rock with that comparison. You know why? Because they say that his game's not sexy and like his personality isn't star worthy and all this shit.
It's not the most like. Again, I don't think it's a one-for-one comparison with his personality and Tim Duncan because, again, I don't rock.
I think he's got way more personality than Tim Duncan.
Yeah, it does. I'm not comparing.
My man be kissing the crowd, doing all this.
Like you're not. That's the comparison. Not, I see that. Like, that's where I was like, I feel that way. I don't think.
I agree with that.
I think people doubt how great Tatum is. Like, it's sad because like when he eventually calls it quits, and you really look at what he's done, then people are gonna truly appreciate him, like a Tim Duncan. Like that's what it, and that's not cool, And so I agree that he should be talked about way more. At higher levels and greater conversations than what's happening. And so I agree that he should be talked about way more at higher levels and greater conversations than what's happening right now. Like, even if you look, if his career ended right now with the Achilles joint, I don't wish that on him. Knock on wood. Like you look at his resume, it's crazy.
Oh, his resume is stupid. It's crazy. That's why I be shocked on all the hate. I'm like, this guy's resume is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's kind of ridiculous.
It's
whatever. Don't know basketball. It's cool. That's how I look at it. Like whoever's going up
the
and
records that he's broke, franchise wise, NBA wise, is crazy. So yeah, I would never doubt Tatum's greatness ever. Like no.
All right. Well, I think to segue into that. Because we're doing the comparisons right now, and I'm introducing something new, which is called A&W. It's called Answer and Why. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to figure out this whole thing for the longest time, and I was like, how are we gonna do this? Because I'm like, it's gonna be quick time with slime, but it's not quick time with slime. So I'm like, all right, how are we gonna figure this out to make it not quick time with slime, but I'm gonna be answering the same fucking questions as quick time with slime. So A&W, which is Answer and Why. It's like, since we're in the NBA sports topic and shit, I'm going to start with that. But as we get into the music segue of things and stuff, because that's what we get into next, y'all. We get into the music shit. I know what y'all be waiting, I know y'all waiting for the music. Y'all know it's a music channel, but the podcast is coming with just conversations. That's what we do. We chop this shit up. And as far as NBA goes, right, we're going to kind of go all over the map. So I'm going to start with this, right? Answer and Why. KD or JT?
What is, I know I'll probably be mad about it. Who's the greater talent? Who has the greater career?
Who has the better career at this by 28? Who would you say has had the better career? Jason Tatum or Kevin Durant?
How do you feel about Kevin Durant's championships? I just want to get your opinion.
I mean, I've never jacked the idea of, and besides, this is really supposed to be you just answering this shit. I wasn't supposed to answer, but I'm answering it though. I've never been the let me go if I can't beat them, join them guy.
Okay. All right.
And I've also never, but to go off of that, I've also never supported the whole I'm gonna go run up and click up with other stars wave like LeBron.
I just wanted to get context so people know your perspective. So, me, regardless of what you would have said, I got Tatum because his one championship and how he got it holds way more weight to me than homies joining up with some of the greatest players in basketball history and outside of Germany. And the greatest players in basketball history. And going to win 3 chips. Like that doesn't
two. KD got 2. They were supposed to 3 people.
See, that even makes my case even better. You only got 2.
He got hurt though. Remember, he had Tatum injury though. He had Tatum injury when they were supposed to beat the Raptors.
Yeah. So on the sheet you got 2. Yeah, because one, like I said, franchise wise, if he would have stayed with Oklahoma City, I don't know if we'd be having the same conversation, but he didn't. So I got Tatum's career, like the records that he broke franchise wise, the records that he broke NBA wise, in such a short span of time, and then not carrying because he didn't. Jalen and the team helped, but then getting the championship the way that he got a championship
organically. That's a factor.
And building his own game to be able to do that, which KD did too. You know, not that I agree.
I feel like KD built his game in OKC, but his game that was already built was just only shaped to fit what was already established.
But so I can't.
Or in Golden State.
Yeah, when in Golden State, he started playing more defense and started like blocking.
We had to fit the system.
Yeah. So that's the only, I give him credit for that. But JT changed up his whole game. Again, still was doing step backs, but like attacking the basket more, doing more of a little bit of everything, facilitating. He wasn't facilitating like he was on that championship run as any point in his career. Like getting the steals, getting the rebounds, like being Mr. Almost quadruple double man.
Word.
Like, you know, like, so yeah, I got to give that to him. Like, that's my opinion.
I mean, I don't disagree with that opinion at all. I mean, you know, both great small forwards, power forwards, whatever you want to say. I think there's basketball players at this point in the NBA, but you know, both prolific scorers, both great careers at that point. But I think for me, it goes back to I would like to say the same thing. Like JT got the chip in Boston, he didn't have to run anywhere. He got all that organically. Like, you know, what was built around him was built around him. He didn't run anywhere, and I'm always going to respect the chip when you get it at home base. And the resume, I think, it just seems to be a lot better. I don't have the resumes exactly in front of me, but if I'm going off of this memory and player card shit, I think his resume is
regular season and playoff.
And that's what I'm about to say. The same, if not better than KD's playoff resume right now. So I gotta put him in that. And I just like his game a little bit better too. Like as much as I like KD's game because it's smooth and silky as fuck, and it's crazy that he's 7 foot doing what he's doing. But with Tatum's game, it's something that's elevated about it because you can't stop him going to the lane as much, but he can also cook you from the outside.
He's a 3-level scorer, which KD is too. I
But
just feel like it's
because
more,
he can be more
physical.
He can be physical and finesse. Yes.
Tatum. I'm not tired to take KD. KD's one of the greatest players in NBA history too. But like Tatum will give you when he's actually playing smart. When he's doing that more.
We're gonna talk about 79, 86. You can continue to talk to them, Andy. I'm gonna grab me a drink.
You know, you good. He's actually. He'll hit you with the tween three, and then when you overplay the tween three, he's by you for the spin pull up, and then when you overplay that, now the next level of it, he's going by you for the rip through dunk or the finesse finish. He needs to stop still complaining to the refs too much, but he's getting better at that.
Which he's gotten better at.
Yeah, he's getting better at.
He's gotten better.
You know, but again, I just feel like he's more methodical with how he kills you, and then. Which you don't have to force him to do. He's going back on the defensive side, and he's playing better defense than people give him credit for. He's getting those passing lane steals. You know, he boards, which again, that may not be, I know that's not flashy, but any star to me that really takes passion in doing the other things, I got more respect for you.
I respect that.
You got more respect for me. So, yeah.
All right. So that's some of T's basketball knowledge and basketball input. There's still more. So another one I got for you, and this is just kind of you can just answer it how you want to answer it. There's no criteria for this one because sometimes I just want you to just base it off how you feel. Yeah. So still NBA based right now because we're still in the sports realm of things. And I know this is a frequently asked question too, so I'm glad that I'm asking this. This is a popular one. Dwayne Wade or James Harden?
Same thing, career?
Nope, this is not the same thing, but just answer. And then give you, once again, it's answer and why. So there's no there's no criteria on it. It's based off of you answer and why.
D Wade
or James Harden.
D Wade for the one.
And it's basically like who you choosing. So it's always going to be who you choose, but answer and why.
D Wade for the sole reason that any homie that can win a championship their rookie year, there's very few people that can.
It's like a second, third year though. It was his rookie year. Nah, it was his rookie. I can promise you,
He was a rookie.
It was Dwayne Wade's second or third year.
He was a rookie.
Second or third year. Because remember, he got drafted in 04 and he won in 06, bro. That's why I can tell you right now he wasn't a rookie. I'm not even gonna look at the stats. You know,
I may be wrong.
You're pulling a Gil right now. You pull out your phone and shit.
I just want to check it. I may be wrong.
Remember, he got drafted in 04. What year LeBron got drafted? 04, 03? Dwayne Wade won in 06. You already know he wasn't a rookie.
Yeah, in 06.
He wasn't a rookie.
In 06.
Dwayne Wade didn't get drafted in 06, brother.
What did he get? Anyways, he won a rookie. He won a championship
in his first like 2-3 years. Yeah.
When did he get drafted?
04.
Sure.
No, but 04, 03 though. Look, one of them years.
So, now I'm just curious when he got drafted.
I think it's 03 or 04. Yeah, one of them years.
Yeah, him and Melo.
It's the Melo Bron Bosch draft class.
So anyone that can win a ring in their first 3 years in the league, still think. Because I can say, even though I messed up, Harden ain't.
He's like, I fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Harden ain't sniffed the third round. Like, it's like, let alone the third year of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that D-Wade did it on both sides. Harden's the better scorer. I would never take that away from him. But in terms of impact, career, like, okay, and again, let me just break it down a bit. For him to win it that early in his career, one thing. For him to have consistent playoff success, another thing, because Harden's never had that. He's a choke.
Yep.
And I'll call it.
Game 6s, Game 5s, and Game 7s. You know he ain't showing up.
Game 0.
He knows James ain't showing up.
Like, you know, and then another thing that's not on paper, but I gotta really get, for him to allow somebody to come to his team and fall back like LeBron and fall back and say, yo, you know what, bro, for us to win,
and they had to have that conversation.
For us to win, 100%. You got it. I've been here, but you take the keys. I'll just back up, let you do your thing. Like, that's a different type of player, caliber player. Like, James Harden would never. Homie had issues with a past his prime CP coming over.
He's had issues with a lot of shit.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he had an issue. Like, well, actually, I don't know how many issues he had with it, but it's just like, nah, I can't get. You're never gonna be. He's never gonna say what you feel about Luka. Say what you feel about James Harden. You're never gonna win a championship with that type of dude.
And Kobe knew it best. Kobe knew it before all of us.
In terms of
James Harden's playstyle.
Oh, yeah.
He knew it before all of us.
No, like,
and I'm glad you kind of brought that part up too, because I want to ask you, and this has nothing to do with the A&W, but do you think James Harden? Well, I can't say this is James Harden should have stayed in OKC, but do you think OKC should have really kept that core together? Because I think the fall of all of their careers as far as championship chasing and everything else was solely off of paying Serge Ibaka.
Great. The new GoDaddy Arrow has AI marketing tools to help small businesses easily reach thousands of customers. It writes sweet social ads and email marketing. It even analyzes the results to boost business. I better start upping my game with some sweet new moves. Guess who's back in the disco? Moving so cool, so slick like Crisco. But you ain't did it like this though. Brand new chain, new clothes, and a wrist roll.
Watch the latest shows all in one place and get up to 6 accounts per household. There's no TV like YouTube TV. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
More than James, and then bringing over Kevin Martin over James.
Well, no, I remember they traded for even though they did bring in Kevin Martin
and starting Thabo Cephalosha.
No, they traded for Jeremy Lamb.
That's what it was.
And then like he said they still be getting stuff for that when you walk on the street. Like, people are mad that they we traded James Harden for you. Like, they be coming at him like that.
I feel like he was just on the podcast and said that shit hot. That's funny. That's funny as shit.
So one thing I can say that I be having that conversation with people all the time. we don't know if we would have got this version of James Harden if he didn't get traded.
You're right on that, but here's my thing.
Yeah.
It's not that if they would have kept that core together that you're getting MVP James Harden and all that. That's not the expectation.
Okay.
The expectation is that you have a big three together where he would have been more of like a D Wade to KD's.
So do you pay Ibaka more than him? No.
Absolutely not.
Even 3 times over, no. It's like you don't
pay. But also, am I starting Thabo Sefolosha over him? No. But that's what they were doing. Remember, James Harden was the sixth man of the year.
Well, bro, but here's the thing. Here's the conversation to be had, though. Like, we're watching this dude in real time, like, not be able to lead a team.
And he showed that in real time in the finals that year.
So
that's why they kind of traded him too. So he's probably always had that marker on him.
Let's have the real conversation.
You're right. I forgot about that.
Is this man just a really, 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 really good 6-man?
Or really? Nah, I wouldn't go as far as say that. Is he just a really good regular season player? Because he's proven to be a starter.
Okay.
We're not going to discredit him as a starter into MVPs, first to All-NBAs, putting up 35 a league. I mean, Mono did it his whole career.
Mono, Jamal Crawford, Lou Will.
But James Harden is in a whole different league than Mono, Lou Will, Jamal Crawford.
You can't rely on him.
It's not about relying. I think it's about having something built around him. And once again, he's a ball-dominant player. Where
How
I think
much
for me,
more do you need built? He had Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
They were hurt. They were all hurt.
How much
That's
more?
the only defense I got with that. They were all hurt. That's it. They never really got to play together.
Men in the league
with Dwight Howard.
Outside of, should I preach and say shot? Like,
but Dwight Howard was on a whole different shit anyway. He couldn't make it.
No, I'm talking about Embiid. Like,
oh. I mean,
like, come on.
Wait, but wasn't Doc coaching that team though?
How many?
But wasn't Doc coaching that team though?
You're supposed to be James Harden though.
But you also got the Doc Rivers factor.
But you say
so when you put 2 and 2 together, that's a bad recipe.
But no. What we're saying here is like, regardless of the coach, you watch this man choke. Like, you watch this man just not shoot the ball. Like, that ain't on the coach.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Like, so, like, is he just a really, really? So I say this, like, put him as a 6th man. Okay, put him as a 6th man on this Timberwolves team. There's no question there. Put him as a 6th man on that Suns team.
So you're saying James Harden should have just been the ultimate 6th man?
Because just because you're the 6th man don't mean you can't finish the game. Jamal Crawford and Lou Will.
You're right.
Like, see what I'm saying? So I'm not being a 6th man.
So the GMs make a mistake and just pay and start James Harden his whole career?
Relying him to be the franchise player? 1,000%. Especially after every game when you in a strip club. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be the franchise player.
So James Harden should have been the ultimate 6th man. He should have just been the best 6th man ever.
Or again, if people feel 6 men is disrespectful,
I'm gonna agree to disagree.
Third option,
but
the best third option.
And that's
you
where
don't
I think
put
I
your
stand.
franchise on his back.
And that's where I think I stand. I think if you would have just if franchises would have built better around him, where you didn't look at him to be the number 1.
But then here's the thing, though. Even when he's the third option, he still ain't showing up.
Yeah, because I mean, technically, Kawhi was the first option.
You know what I mean? He's still. That's what I'm saying.
In Los Angeles.
So the reason why I say that 6-man role is because when you're a 6-man, you got the starters that hold it down. You just got to be the plus.
And what's crazy is like, OKC, he was a 6th man and still couldn't show up then.
Yeah, like okay, real time.
You might be right.
Not to go back into the Celtics conversation. Payne Pritchard, 6th man of the year. We ain't Pritch. If you give us something, appreciate you. Pritch had a bad game.
I'm not mad that if he had a bad game.
Like, we ain't mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
he had a level last night, and I'm like, that was a highlight, but I wasn't mad though. I'm like, he should have had more, but I'm not mad about it.
That's the role James Harden need to be in.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's your role. Like, that's that. Like, because you've proven. I'm not speaking off our feelings. Like, you've proven we can't. You can't carry us.
Damn, so this is a moment right here, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anybody's ever said that James Harden should have been the ultimate 6th man his whole career, but I don't think anybody's ever asked that question
to me, that's not disrespectful. Like, Jamal Crawford's one of my favorite players ever. I take him over starters who I've liked.
There's been a lot of legendary 6 men.
Jamal Crawford's my guy.
J.R. Smith.
Like, there was a point before he started doing all the craziness. I rock with Nuggets, JR. Like,
I like New York J.R. Smith too, minus the pulling socks and shit like that. But like, I fuck with Nuggets J.R. Smith too.
There was a point where he started to go left for me. I don't know where it was at. Like, but anyway, Jamal Crawford was my guy. Lou Will, my guy. Ben Gordon. I don't know how you categorize it. But
because he did start
yeah,
too.
Yeah,
Like,
for
you
a
know what I'm
little
saying?
bit. But
He was
like,
a carry,
yo, there was
started
6
full
men.
word.
Like, yo, I feel like, yo, you could put them up there with some of the greats. So being a 6 man ain't disrespectful to me. But,
Okay. So I guess my final A and W to the sports segment of shit would be
Why do you want to bring back Manhattan?
You see, power equals power. It's a gentrifying neighborhood. What do you expect? I dare any mainlander to set foot on this island.
I'm not playing your games.
Into an eye.
and this is for the Bostonians out here, you know what I'm saying? This is for the Bostonians out here. It would be a start bench cut.
okay.
You know, we're gonna make it fun here. Start bench cut. So would it be between Larry, Paul, and Tatum? What we doing? And this is a tough one too because I know that bench is gonna be hard. The bench is the toughest spot.
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Start Tatum, bench
Okay.
Larry, cut Paul.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Ooh, that's tough. That's
how's that tough?
Because for me, it's all tough because I didn't grow up on Larry Legend, and I get a lot of shit on this channel for not having any Larry Legend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, I know he's like one of the greatest Celtic players ever. I know he's one of the top 5 small forwards of all time. I understand how great Larry is, but I didn't see Larry. You feel me? It's one of those. I didn't see Larry.
Yeah.
But because I have to do it by default, I'm putting Larry on the bench / starting. Like, that's where it makes it tough because Larry has the most chips out of everybody.
Yeah.
And he's got the most MVPs out of everybody. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to start Larry. I'm going to be real. I'm going to start Larry.
But
I'm going to start Larry for the accolades. You know what I'm saying? The chipware.
But okay.
And the clutch factor.
But
and then hold on, because you got your 3. You got your 3, nigga. I got to get mine. I got to get my 3. And let me know in the comments below, like, who you starting and benching and cutting in this question as well, too. But when it comes to Paul and Tatum, I might have to bench Paul and cut Tatum.
What's going on?
A lot. You know why?
Right.
Because I add clutch factor. Paul's more clutch than Tatum, bro.
What?
So Tatum's more clutch than Paul? Tatum's more clutch than Paul?
How's that? I think Tatum got the record for like most game winning. Like, again, I'm not even really trying to throw statistics in there. Like, I feel like he's more clutch than Paul Pierce. I got one question for you. All 3 of those people, what has Paul done on his own?
What you mean? He went to 2 Eastern Conference Finals
on his own?
Yes. Who did he have, bro? He was going to Eastern Conference Finals with Vitaly Batopical, Eric Williams, bro.
I give you credit for that. Whoever that. Hopefully he's
that's his name. That's his name. He was going to conference finals with Tony Batiste, Vitaly Batopicals, Tony Delks. You know what I'm saying? Like Yuri Welch and shit. Come on, dog.
He's won a conference finals.
He went to 2 conference finals. I might be stretching with 2, but he went to 1. And I think the one he went to, though, was with Twan and shit.
That's why I think, he had Antoine Walker, best shooters in the league at the time.
Yeah, but outside of that, it was him, Twan, Tony Delk, Vitaly Batopical, fucking Milt Palacio, nigga, Walter McCarty. What is he supposed to do with that? That's no disrespect to those dudes.
Yeah.
But what is he supposed to do when he's going against Kenyon Martin, Kerry Kittles, Lucius the Mask nigga, fan of the Mask dude, Jason Kidd, best point guard in the league, like Keith Van Horn at the time. Like, what is he supposed to do?
I do get what you're saying. I'm not trying to like.
He did a lot more with a lot less. Is what I would say. Paul was able to be that guy and still get, bro. look at what I just named.
Because my
and
thing
he got that team, those rosters. He got to at least the second round.
Because my thing is like, all right, and this goes back to our people doubting Tatum.
And Tatum came in, and this is not even a knock against Tatum. Tatum came into like a made man situation, and when I say that, he came into an established Jaylen Brown, Kyrie, sorry, not established, but like he was a second year in, but he came in with a roster. Is what I'm saying. He came in with a roster that had high expectations. He got early experience. So like when he came in, we weren't relying on Tatum to be what we look at now.
Yeah.
We relied on Paul to be what Paul was the entire time. Paul had to carry the Celtics through dark times the entire time. Okay. Where Tatum, he walked into literally us coming out of an Eastern Conference Finals, trading away for Kyrie Irving, shaping a roster for Gordon Hayward, Al Horford. Remember the who's beating the Celtics team. That he came into that. You know what I'm saying? And once again, he wasn't even the third. He was like the third option on that roster. Paul ain't never been no third option, my nigga.
Was in the big 3K.
What? Paul was the closer, first option. KG was the spark, the energy, the defensive anchor. But Paul was still the first option. When it came down to getting the money time buckets, you might make a play for Ray to get in the corner for three. Remember, hence, make a play for Ray in the corner. But when you needed somebody to get to it, free throw, baseline, Paul, all day. Paul.
That's the step back.
Paul, the step back that players be doing now and shit, and tearing their Achilles off doing this shit. No, I'm playing. But
no.
Paul, I'm benching Paul, and I'm going to have to cut Tatum, to be honest with you. And it's bold.
No, I know because...
But it's right.
He has the highest ceiling. He has the highest ceiling.
Tatum?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
He has the highest ceiling. You can't cut Larry just because...
Larry Legend, bro. He's done too much for the franchise. That's why I say I'm starting Larry.
Yeah, he's done too much.
I got to start Larry. Even with me not knowing about Larry, I just have to start Larry because when he got more chips, he got 3 MVPs.
And the reason, so I can say for me, the reason I cut Paul and bench Tatum is because he has a higher ceiling. His resume is way crazier than Paul, regardless who's on his team. Like, to me, that's even more of a justification because he had all those talented people on his team and he still put up the numbers and stats like they weren't there. And I would say if you put Tatum in the same role that Paul was in, we can't, but like he would have went even crazier. Like Tatum has to
Tatum has
he has to take a step back to allow everyone else to be good.
Yes.
Like if you put him on a team by himself, he'll be going crazy.
But I will say if you had to give Tatum a team by himself, because you have to go back.
Yeah.
In this conversation, you kind of got to go back in time for Tatum.
Yeah.
Because Paul was given the keys when he came into the league.
Yeah.
Tatum was not.
Yeah.
Tatum was given the keys 4th year into the league. Maybe you would say 3rd year into the league, you would say. You know what I'm saying? Tatum was given the keys around there.
Yeah.
And once again, he had the trajectory of him to be that person and develop into that is different because he had the shield behind him, is what I would like to say. You had those better, you had the Kyrie, you had more focus behind him.
He had a better path to develop.
That's what I'm saying. Where who's to say if like it would have been the same if he would have just came into that. Where Paul came into that and grew into being the star and the legend that he is.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just like
you're basing it off of his 4 years in versus Paul came in.
And I can't, like I said, I can't say that how Tatum would have fared having to develop under that. I can't. I just know that I'm looking at this version of Tatum and I'm looking at the situation that Paul Pierce was in. And I know that if Tatum, this version of Tatum, had a team to himself, he would be going crazy. I can't speak on if they both came in the league without a team or what. I can't. I can look at how Paul Pierce was at his age and how Tatum is right at his age and throw that homie on the team by himself. Nah, Paul, I got to cut Paul.
I'm giving it to Paul, man. You know I got Paul here and there, dog. I'm giving it to Paul, man.
It's like he out here paying checks around here.
I'm giving it to Paul, baby. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, Paul, if you seeing this, man, holla at your boy, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. Holla at your boy. I respect the legend. I respect the truth. And I respect JT, but I'm going to have to put JT off the cut. I got to cut JT, man. And here's the thing. JT's overall resume right now, where it stands, is better than Paul's.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not even going to act like that's not the case, but I've watched Paul's whole career develop, and I've watched...
You're about to watch Tatum's, hopefully.
Yes, yes. But I watched Paul's grind where Tatum. This is his struggle moment. Tatum's moment to struggle right now is here.
He had two. Luke keep losing. The loss to the Warriors was the first, and this is the second.
But this is, I think, a lot more major than anything because now it's like you have to come back you have to overcome a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So I think this is like the part 2 of his career where it's like, will he build what we already see as a Hall of Fame career now? Will he build a second resume? Because right now, this is he's taking a break, so now he's starting.
Because not for nothing,
I mean,
the league that he's going to come back to is going to be totally
way different. We don't know what the fuck the league's going to look back like. Wemby might be running this motherfucker when he come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what the hell's going to be going on?
Cooper Flag,
Cooper Flag, you know what I'm saying? Wemby and Giannis might be together and shit. Like you don't know what's going to go on with that.
Yeah, more mature. You know, who knows what's about to happen with the Suns?
The Suns is toast.
You know, Paulo. You know,
Paulo might become that dude because I like what I see from Paulo in the first round. Not
I'll go back to the Anthony. Outside of Ant, Paulo is the only homie that I think you can put in Ant's situation.
I can agree with that. So I like what I seen. I like what I seen Paulo doing in the playoffs with virtually nothing and giving us a struggle. You know, and when I say a struggle, we beat them in 5, but it just looked different. Like he looks like you give him those right pieces, they're a force to be reckoned.
And one thing that's happening right now with Ant, even though Ant's a better shooter, is Ant because he knows he's getting good at his shot, isn't driving as much. Whereas that Paulo is all drive. All how much they done.
All drive and maybe
I'm gonna wear you down. Yeah, I'm gonna wear you down.
He don't got that yet. But he showed a couple of things.
Yeah, he's got to develop.
I'm like, he's got a 3-point shot like that. When he developed that,
it's a wrap.
It's scary. It's spooky. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely spooky. But yeah, I mean, shit, dog. I guess that's where we segue into the starting bench cut with the Celtics. I'm pretty sure I'll have more because once again, I mean, you know, you've been a frequent flyer on the couch a few times, man. We did the reactions in the beginnings, which we're about to get into in a few minutes. But let's see, is there one more? Anything out there that I was trying to get at sports related wise, man? I don't think so. I think for the most part, I think we covered the sports shit. You know what I mean? Like the future of the Celtics. You know what I mean? Who knows where that's going to be at? But that's questionable. But yeah, man. I mean. Yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got with that one. You know what I mean? That's the end of our sports segment of that, man. So if you like the video, if you're lurking and smirking, don't forget to like it. We're back to the chat though. Who came in new? KYM, what up, Stumps? What's happening?